What's up, folks? Thought I'd go over a little skateboard history. Just found one of my old ones. This is nothing I rode. Someone gave this to me as an adult. I was out with the kids in the street like I always am, riding bikes and skateboards and scooters and whatever else. I think I was one of those the things with the two wheels that you stood on and leaned. The things I fell off of every time I stood off of it. Hover rounds. But anyway, this kid came out and told me he wanted to sell me this old board he had. And I was, oh man, I always wanted a Jessee. This is a Jessee, a Santa Cruz Jessee. I always wanted one. Whenever I was younger, I had a lot of friends that had it. I just never happened to get one. But this was actually, he had a board that was just Poseidon. It was Poseidon's whole face, but it was like orange, like fire. But it was just the face with the hair going everywhere and the beard. That was going to be my first tattoo, I remember. I remember Jessee was one of the first young people I saw with tattoos. But I always wanted my dad had. Let's talk about tattoos another day. But it was cool. The kid's like, oh, if you bomb that hill on that, you can have it. So I just took it up the hill and rode down. So anyway, I got some cool stuff on it. It's from 1989. It's a 1989 Jessee. That's copyright somewhere. But it has Venture trucks, which I know to most people isn't really anything special. But, and then whoever skated it, skated the hell out of it. They weren't messing around. But, yeah, the old big-ass 80s riser pads. I loved it. Let's see, but there you see Venture. These have to be some of the first Venture trucks ever made, because I don't remember Ventures until the 90s sometime. But, then it has Vision Blur wheels, which you can barely make out on. I mean, I know because I had a red set. But those right there, Vision, those blurs, well, they would have originally been huge. I rode this thing down the hill. It's got just the normal, we used to call them German bearings because they said Germany on them. But sometimes they said Rush too. I can't remember which ones these are. I took one off and checked it out. But yeah, I rode it down the hill, and the thing rolls just as good as any new board I have. And I have bearings that cost $10 and bearings that cost $40, and they all roll just the same. But these wheels are so smooth. They're just so much softer. And then you get the real 80s style stuff on the top. Ta-dong! The grip taping was the best. I did find kind of a matching screw, but there was a flathead screw right there. That was very typical in the 80s. You couldn't find hardware. You dug through whatever you had in the garage. You found a screw, and you might not have a lock washer, so you'd have like 2 nuts put on it, and the screw would be this long. Everything would be mismatched. I mean, I had many a board I would ride where I'd have a screw, 2 screws, and that's it. A lot of times 3. 3 was like plenty. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. My rich friends, of course, why don't you just go get some hardware? First off, my grandma's not going to drive me an hour away to get it. 40 minutes, I think it was. And I'm not going to order it. That'll take months back then. So, and we, you know, I'm not going to ask them for money for stuff like that. But the coolest stuff was the grip tape. This is about 80 grit if you know your sandpaper. It's literally 60 to 80 grit sandpaper. They don't make grip tape like this anymore. And even the hardware, it doesn't, you know, it's all flat now. It's, you know, it's all countersunk, sunks down in. These are, you know, all popped up. Boom, 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 boom. But the coolest thing in the 80s, he must have painted this black because it should say Santa Cruz here. It has a Vision sticker on it. It's more 80s throwback stuff. My first new skateboard, pro model skateboard ever was a convicted murderer. Mark Gator Grabowski. I had and it's like the most unique one, at least when I look online, is black and silver. But it had checkers. Anyone that knows skating, you'll know the Vision Gator. That was my first new board. I think I ended up trading it for my second Psycho Stick. So we traded a lot in the 80s. And I thought this was a skull when I first grabbed it off the kid. I didn't really look at it. And someone said, no, it's a mushroom. And it is. That was the other big thing. You never just put your grip tape on. You had to put some kind of design. I remember getting boards and just ripping grip tape, just ripping it in pieces and then putting it on. However, you know, just something to be different. But that's probably why the dude painted this black, because it definitely, and then there's a bunch of drawings all over it where it looks like, I don't know, oh, look, featuring Live Forever and Supersonic. Dude, that has to be the girl rap band. Supersonic. Supersonic. Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. Sorry, I got hyped for a minute. Had to get up and start dancing. I put on Supersonic. JJ Fad is what I think it was. I didn't even look that up. That just popped in my head. I bet I honest to God think I would get off to look up an 80s song. JJ Fad or TJ Fad or I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you see, it must have started to get tough cutting his grip tape there. You can kind of get a feel of just how rough the grip tape is. But anyway, I was talking about drawings. It looks like he was trying to draw like a Jeff Grosso, the one that has like ears. I don't know if that was out by 89. So whatever he did there, he scratched out. It was so common to draw all over your board, all over your grip tape, all over everything. Then it had a Ramon sticker right here that fell off. I don't know what that's from. The world is ours. If anyone knows, please comment and tell me, like anyone's gonna watch this. But here's the telltale sign. It was definitely in the 80s because it's got a gotcha sticker. What's left of one, it looks like someone wrote off some curbs and scraped it off. But man, gotcha clothes. I bet you I gotcha some school pictures with me wearing gotcha. Definitely gotcha in Ocean Pacific a lot back in the old days. But alright, it's just my silly little video on my 1989 throwback Jason Jessee. Maybe if I find some other ones. I know this is the only complete I have. I might have some more decks. I don't know. If anyone watches it, maybe I'll show some more of them. But take care. Bye-bye now. I just had to redo this part. It was when I was showing what I was talking about. I had something I can't show on YouTube in my hand. Oh, tobacco. No, it is. It's horrible. Don't ever start smoking, kids. Never. Never. But anyway, or vaping. It's just as damn bad. But this board doesn't have rails, and it would have been so cool. It was so rare for a board in 1989 to not have rails. I don't have the 3 boards I ride are in my truck, but I have on my throwback one. I have rails, and man, I tell you what, after sliding all through the 90s and 2000s without rails, and then putting a pair on that board and hitting one of my parking blocks, woo, did I slide very far. But I put them on late too, and I got some gouges out of my Nautis. But it's a throwback anyway. I don't really care. But this would have been cool to have the whole graphic, because the 80s graphics were awesome the way they were done. But yeah, I went like this across it because I said it looks like he was just hitting some curbs, doing some little board slides or something the way, just always going on the same way. Every slide's the same way. So, you know, back then curbs, I mean, around here, there was nowhere to skate unless you had money and parents willing to drive you to Pittsburgh. But yeah, so it's probably from curbs. Man, we used to build board slides. I built a lot of ramps in my life. We used to have half pipe in our backyard. I had a friend that had a half pipe in his basement. It was awesome. He could have bought whatever he had, so he always had nice stuff. Parents had money, but they were very nice people though. But look how ground down the trucks are. I have a pair of Indies on my board that I was riding before I got all those ones for Christmas that are almost as far. But all right. Yeah, wish they would have put rails on. The Poseidon Jason Jessee, one of my all-time favorite graphics. All the old Santa Cruz ones. I think my next board's going to be a Grosso for the downhill. And we'll see. All right. Have a good one. God bless. Please subscribe. Thanks.